It totally destroyed the body of the car and the windshield. It was well beyond any repair. That car was just scrap metal after that storm.
But the car has served its purpose. It probably saved Jim's life.
Oh, it's by far safer in the car. If you're outside in a storm like that, you're going to get killed. It's like being hit by a rocket at 100 miles an hour.
That's all for this edition. Tune in next time for even more amazing encounters with weather on Full Force Nature.
Wake up with Al and your weather today. Weekday mornings from 6 to 11 on the Weather Channel. And now, your local on the 8s.
Weather Channel, the Winter Weather Authority.
We're tracking a big storm in the northwest. See where it will bring dangerous conditions and accumulating snow to areas that haven't had it this late in the season in decades. Plus, the growing severe weather threat. 40 million people in line to get heavy rain and flooding. And our severe weather expert pinpoints where you could also see tornadoes. And we have new information on the deadly New Zealand earthquake. We've got new details on aftershocks. See what made this one unique next on Weather Center. And it's 10 o'clock now on the West Coast, 1 a.m. Eastern. Welcome to Weather Center. I'm Kim Cunningham. In tonight for Chris Warren and Crystal Egger. Boy, we've got a busy show on tap, including details on what could be our first severe outbreak of the year. But all the action tonight is in the West. Let's take a live look, or a look here at Bellevue, Washington, just outside of Seattle. And you can see conditions starting to, it's getting a little chillier, 34 degrees. The cold air, the really cold air is set to come in tomorrow. But some areas of Washington, especially, and we're talking lower elevations, could see up to 6 inches of snowfall, even around the Seattle area, depending on where this convergent zone sets up with the snow. So right now we're looking at where we have the winter storm warnings in effect. That's what the white is indicating. Seattle and Portland, we haven't seen too many of these this year. Now, this is all the way to the West Coast, too, all the way to the Pacific Ocean. Even coastal areas could see snow out of this. And it just doesn't end here. We could see it as far south as San Francisco eventually. All right, so right now it doesn't look that impressive yet. Okay, the cold air really is going to come in tomorrow. That's where we're really going to see the snow begin to fall. And you can see a little bit of snow trying to come through. Higher elevations of Cascade, seeing some of that snowfall. Temperatures here into the 30s. So the forecast is going to be calling for Seattle to pick up 2 to maybe even up to 6 inches of snowfall here. And we're going to see some of that snowfall continue. As a matter of fact, here's your forecast, Jim.
Well, the party is just getting started across the Pacific Northwest, and believe it or not, even some of the weather forecasters in San Francisco are talking about the hills around San Francisco and maybe even the downtown seeing a little bit of snow. It hasn't snowed there since 1976, and this is certainly the kind of pattern that will do that. What's interesting, though, is we really haven't gotten into the beef of this. As we go through the day today, you'll notice the cold air filtering into Seattle and in through Portland, up through the Columbia River. Real big cold Arctic high, allowing that cold air to spill in, and any, if you will, rain or sleet on the beaches will change on over to snow and through here. As a matter of fact, there's already enough instability across much of Washington to have mostly a snow situation here. So we'll continue to watch this whole area of low pressure just drop on off toward the southwest as we work our way through the day on Thursday. But it'll be an interesting rush hour for you all tonight in Seattle and also in toward Portland. And a lot of it will depend on the snowfall rates, much like we talk about in the east, as to just how bad your commute is going to be. Because remember, those road surfaces are going to start warm and probably be warm for most of the day as this rain and snow mixture changes on over. Now, here's what we're expecting. Seattle, yeah, maybe the first time in 22 years we've gotten this much snow this late in the season. We're talking about 4 to 6 inches in through here. Portland 2 to 4, and even on the beaches of Oregon we could be talking about snow. You have to go all the way back to 44 years, I should say, to see the kind of snowfall we could see in Salem, Oregon, coming up with this event. So yes, it has snowed in the Northwest before, all the way to the beaches, but this looks like a widespread event which could reach all the way as far south as San Francisco. Wow.
All right, let's take now a look at your weather headlines. We begin with a daring helicopter rescue in the middle of the night and the New York police officers who pulled it off. The rescue came after 2 West Point cadets got stranded while rappelling down steep cliffs in New York. Now you're looking at actual night vision video from the rescue. The NYPD brought in their elite aviation unit, and in windy conditions with zero room for error, they choppered in and saved the cadets. Now today they were commended for their bravery, and they talked about the mission.
We were approximately 80 feet above the ledge. Our rotor system was less than from me to the door, away from trees and rock outcroppings. So it was very difficult to hold it in that particular position.
Actually, we all said okay, well, we all said afterwards, we said it was a great job, but we all needed beer. That's what we really said. Of course, not on job time.
And I want you to take a look at the location where the rescue went down. No small feat in this rugged terrain. All right, and harsh weather is bringing some unwelcome guests into residential areas. Numerous coyote sightings have been made in New York State. All the recent snow is setting the coyotes to forage for food in highly populated areas like Queens. Wildlife officials say coyotes don't usually pose a threat to humans, but keeping pets indoors is probably a good idea. And nearly 2.5 years after Hurricane Ike devastated parts of the Gulf Coast, reconstruction of the Galveston airport is almost complete. High water from the storm surge left waist-high debris in the terminal. Now it will have high-impact, hurricane-proof windows. The Shoals International Airport is officially open right now. And hold on to your seats. The weather pattern is going to get very, very active in the week ahead. That does include severe weather, rearing its ugly head once again. And our severe weather expert, Dr. Greg Forbes, weighs in on the storm and the flooding threat. And how about the likelihood of tornadoes next? Plus, the very latest on the New Zealand earthquake. The 2 factors that made this one so much worse still ahead on Weather Center.
Homeowners, rates have been going up, but you can still refinance to a fixed rate as low as 4.5% at LendingTree.com, where customers save an average of $293 a month. Call LendingTree at 1-800-800-8733 today.
A high-flow exhaust delivers more power. Electric power steering delivers a precise way of using it. The powerful Acura TL.
Take advantage of attractive lease rates on the 2011 Acura TL for well-qualified customers.
If you got worries, then you're like me. Don't worry now, I won't hurt you. And if you got worries, then you're like me. Don't worry now, I won't desert you.
When it comes to the things you care about, leave nothing to chance. Travelers, insurance for auto and home. Call or click now for an agent or quote.
New Maxwell House International Cappuccinos. Maxwell House International. Stop your world.
And if you go with us, it'll be a win-win.
Certainly will.
I think this could be a win-win.
Maybe. This is going to be a win-win.
Win-win.
A what? A win-win!
You should say win-win. Use a hyphen.
You know what this is?
A win-win.
A home run.
That's my next guess.
Win-win. Win-win.
Drink?
Man, this trip was great. I mean, I'm just, pumped.
We know why you fly. We're American Airlines.
Introducing DeliFresh, fresh refrigerated food for dogs. DeliFresh is an all-natural meal of fresh meats and vegetables with no preservatives or byproducts. Find it in the refrigerator at your local pet store. DeliFresh, dog food redefined.
If you want weather on your TV, just turn to the Weather Channel. On your computer, the Weather Channel online is weather.com. And with the Weather Channel mobile app, you can always take the weather with you. The source for weather, the Weather Channel.
Wake up with Al and your weather today. Weekday mornings from 6 to 11 on the Weather Channel. And now, your local on the 8s.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Let's take you to Seattle. Meteorologist Chris Warren is there live. And Chris, I know it's been a long day for you. Are you excited about, being in your old stomping grounds for this event?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I just showed up. I still haven't even gotten to my rental car yet, but we're planning on being in downtown Seattle during the day tomorrow at some point. Not exactly sure where we're going to be. But, Kim, it's interesting. The thing about Seattle, it's so hard to get snow in Seattle. Everything has to come together at the right amount of time, and then the forecast can change just hours before. I mean, it's a situation because of all the water, because of the mountains, where exactly the heaviest snow is going to set up is never a slam dunk. But if you get snow in certain spots, all of a sudden it can bring traffic to a crippling halt. You can get cold air coming in from the north, which we are expecting to happen tomorrow from BC, coming all the way down the Fraser River Valley, and it's going to come all the way down into the Seattle area, and it can make tomorrow morning's commute tough. What will be the snow showers, but the Arctic air potentially for tomorrow evening, Kim, could make things very, very nasty. But again, we don't know exactly where these heavy bands of snow are going to set up. If you see it time and time again, you just kind of have to be there and watch it, look at the radar, and see where it sets up, and that's where you're going to have a trouble spot.
And Chris, in your experience, how does the airport handle this?
The airport, they do a pretty good job. I mean, the airport rarely has delays anyways, but it's like anything. If the airport gets hit hard, then they're gonna be shut down. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's not. I wouldn't say they're any worse or any better than any other airports necessarily. If you get hit really hard with freezing conditions and a lot of snow in a short amount of time, there's only so much you can do.
Right.
So. But they do a good job of getting things cleared out, and it's usually not too long before things are up and running again.
And, what about snow plows and how they treat the roads? Are they on top of things usually?
Usually, a few years ago, they had some issues. They didn't want to use salt on the roads in downtown Seattle, so those roads were really bad for a long time. They've since kind of gone back on that, and they do use a lot of different measures. But the thing is, Kim, you don't get a lot of snow in Seattle. It doesn't happen very often. You might get a little bit here and there, but it'll warm up and it'll melt quickly. But you don't get crippling snowstorms that often. So when you do, it's a pretty big deal, and it's not like it's an everyday or even an every year occurrence.
You know, it kind of sounds like Atlanta a little bit, doesn't it? You just had experience there with that one.
But you know what, Kim? The thing is, it's similar in that sense. You're just not used to it all the time. The problem with Seattle, you have more hills. And we know what cars do with gravity and ice.
Right.
Yeah, we've seen the video out of Seattle where cars are spinning coming down the hill. But again, Seattle has an opportunity to usually warm up faster than Atlanta does based on its proximity to the water.
All right, so